Hey everyone, it's Sparkles again. I've been kind of sick and it's been a long month, so this is kind of very late. So this is my new sketchbook. This is my favorite sketchbook to use in general. It's the same kind seen in my previous sketchbook tour video. A 9x12 Ucreate sketchbook, which is pretty cheap. I think it's about $7 in the store last I checked. Smooth paper, I like the large size, and it tends to do pretty well for anything that involves glue or dry medias. So I'll start with saying that I'm super indecisive and have way too much stuff to decorate with. I tried cutting down and speeding up the process, but it still took a long time. You have been warned. I don't really plan out what I'm going to do. Sometimes I move stuff and make decisions on layouts off camera, because I know that takes me a long time. But I'm not one of those people that will just slap on stickers wherever, or have things set up and planned and then film aesthetically and plan way ahead. So instead you'll have to deal with me going through my supplies and figuring things out. I have a pile of stickers. Many of them are from the Dollar Tree. A few of them I've just had forever, or I've gotten from random other sources that I've had for a long time but never used. Here you can see some of the stuff I've put aside because I knew I'd probably like decorating with them and customizing my sketchbook. As I go through them, you can kind of get an idea of the kinds of things I like, the fandoms I'm a part of, etc. I started experimenting with and looking at different ways other artists customize their sketchbooks and journals, so I started also using it as a journal, keeping track of things going on in the world over the year and in my life, and as junk journal and scrapbook, using things from magazines, wrappers, paper, photos from trips, and other various things just to decorate and memorialize. I never used to decorate the outside of my sketchbooks. While in school and college, they would often get damaged just from being carried around everywhere, so most things I apply and use today would have just come off. This is the third cover that I've decorated so far. This one, my first, as you see in the tour, and my Fabriano, which unfortunately doesn't like paints, so I don't use it much anymore. I am currently trying to decide on another mixed media or watercolor sketchbook to use. I was really disappointed in the Fabriano, since I put a lot of work into it and decorating it and had big plans for it. I hoped it would be a fun thing to help me get back into painting, but the paper just doesn't like water or paint or anything like that, especially watercolor. The water and pigments just sit on top and the paper barely gets absorbed. It makes painting very difficult. I should probably do a review at some point. At least it was cheap and on sale. Normally $20, but on sale for about $8. So, what is going on in the world right now? Well, there has been lots of news, as you have obviously seen just this month. I live in the US, so things have been crazy and scary. California has been on fire. The fascist Tangerine is president. The audio I'm recording was just after Elon did his totally was a Roman salute and not something else. Sarcasm much. And so far the shit show just keeps on going and getting worse. It looks like the US and the White House are cosplaying as a dumpster fire at the moment. I'm hoping things can get better. Maybe have a few more Luigis in the world. Make a difference. Who knows? Let's see, for personal life, last year a parent got injured. Had them over at my house for about a month, and been busy helping take care of other family so often I haven't had another actual job since I left my old one last year when the contract ended. Family needs a lot of help, kind of spread out, and I'm kind of the only one to help them at the moment. Weather's been pretty cold here. It's gonna be below freezing again tonight, and we just had another snow warning. I'm trying to get my outdoor plants through their first winter. This is the first time I've been able to really have outdoor plants and do this kind of stuff, so. I realized while sorting through this that I could just go through all of my stickers once, take out the ones that I think I might want to use, and put them in my sticker book. Then I can decide if I want to use them or not, instead of going through the pile over and over and over. At the moment, 5 fur babies, 2 cats, 3 dogs. All dogs are old seniors. And lastly, 3 fish tanks. trying to get down to 2 and rehoming a very large goldfish because her friend died. And you can't really find other 9-inch fancy goldfish at the store. They're all tiny little babies that she would eat. So, trying to find someone else that has a giant goldfish already that needs a friend. Right before Christmas, I woke up with an arm injury. I have calcific tendinitis, which I had been living with fine for a while. But it was strange, I woke up and I could barely move my arm. I had very limited movement and a lot of pain. Of course, in my dominant hand, an arm, so couldn't really draw, type, write, drive, or much for a while. By now, it's gotten most of its movement back, and I've got another appointment for a specialist to see it, but hopefully they can actually do something this time. All I can do is hope for the best and prepare for the worst. It's already been over an hour of sorting through things, going through stuff, so decided to take a break, and I will come back when I've mostly decided on what to use, and we'll be playing around with layouts. This will also be the next day because it was about 3 a.m. when I decided to take a break from this. This actually stretched over 3 days because the first was at 3 a.m., next day went until my lights gave out, and then the third day when all my lights and everything were all charged up. As you can see, I love the Elder Scrolls games, and one of the first things I decided to put down was a page from the Mysterium Xarxes from Oblivion. Lots of other random things. Pink and blue are my favorite colors, so I like to use a lot of things involving that. Second from that is rainbows. D&D, dinosaurs, paleontology, video games, so you'll see many references. Now that everything's placed, and I'm kind of satisfied with the layout, begin gluing things down. As you can see, I also shift stuff around a bit as well. Trying to do kind of a matching aesthetic, kind of what I did before with the previous Fabriano sketchbook of rainbows and pinks and blues. So, goals and plans for this year regarding, more art stuff. This year, I'm planning on opening my business. Last year I did all the paperwork and whatnot, and have been trying to figure out how to set up a shop and get everything else done. My plan is to begin it on Etsy while I get the hang of online transactions and communication. Eventually, when I get a big enough following, I can move on to an actual website and other things. Planning on starting with things like digital downloads and commissions until I can save up enough for physical products like prints and stickers. I've also been looking up different online stores that can print and do that stuff for me in case I'm not able to myself, and also I'm likely going to run out of room at my small-ish house. Doesn't have a lot of storage room, so I might have to outsource a lot of printing and other stuff just because I don't have room. I eventually want to sell stickers, posters, prints, buttons, and other things, but my first goal is just to start and open the shop, get my first sale, first commission, and move on from there. Eventually, my far end goal, is to be fully supported by my art. Not have to worry financially, be able to afford any surgeries for my senior dogs, and be happy with my art. My ultimate dream would be to be making so much my husband doesn't have to work and I can help out other people financially, like family and friends, medical bills, donate to charities. I don't dream to be so rich I can afford a mansion or fancy cars. I just want enough to be happy, stable, and help make the world a better place. I've always wanted to help make the world a better place. It's difficult to do so, though. Now, away from my financial goals and more onto my actual art goals. I want to practice watercolor more. I loved it as a kid and enjoy it most of all when it comes to painting. Along with that, I've gained some gouache and heard that it is great to use accompanying watercolor or used like it, so I want to practice with that and try it out as well. I have some acrylics and other paints that were found in some of my great-grandparents' art supplies and storage. Eventually I want to try those out as well. So essentially explore different types of paints and practice with them. I also want to practice and try out colored pencils. I did in the past and wasn't that big of a fan of them, but I want to try them again. And also try mixed media techniques like using colored pencil over watercolors. I am currently getting back into digital, mostly using my phone, but I also have a tablet for my computer. I'm just apprehensive to start using it again because I remember the learning curve being very annoying and frustrating when I did it, when I began digital many years ago. Now for subjects. I want to study anatomy, both of animals and people. I usually draw creatures, animals, and very rarely people, but want to expand upon those and branch out into other things too. I've always been a fan of biology, and will use those studies to both practice art and learn about the workings of things, sometimes drawing out scientific and other diagrams to relearn and remember things better. I want to do landscapes. I started a series of landscape paintings done in watercolor as a way to both practice with watercolor and learn how to do landscapes with subjects I'm interested in, with my video game landscape pieces. Another series I want to keep working on is creatures inspired by drinks. I enjoy collecting and trying new and weird and odd random flavors, usually of sodas, and thought it would be fun to combine that with creature design. At some point I want to try doing a video game field guide journal type thing, where I go through one or more games and kind of make a field guide looking thing. Different locations, landmarks, creatures, flora, fauna, etc. I've had the idea for a while. I just have to decide on what to paint, get a specific book or paper that works well, and then decide on what games to do. I need something that interests me but isn't too complicated and is easy to find the sources for. So hopefully a game I already have. After my Xbox died, I have to just use stuff on Steam or on my PS2. But something that isn't so overwhelming and complex that it would take forever and I would easily get burnt out of. I've thought about Skyrim or Dragon Age, but they have a lot of different items and creatures and where it'd be a little overwhelming. So I might start with something a bit smaller like Slime Rancher or Viva Pinata that have a lot more limited creatures and things, but would still be kind of a fun practice to do. Long ago I tried comics, and I think it would be a good exercise and something fun to do. I grew up on different comics like Lackadaisy or Off-White, Black Blood Alliance many years ago. I have some more open goals of things I want to try. I want to get back into animation. Way back in the day when I first had my tablet and was still in high school, I did a few very basic animations that were kinda really bad. Over a decade ago. I want to try getting back into it again. Learning animation will coincide with learning anatomy and creature movements. I've yet to decide on an animation program or site to use. Suggestions would be helpful. I want to learn how to do 3D animations, modeling, and maybe even make a game with it, using Godot. My partner and I had looked at making a game a while back, and we've decided on Godot would be a good program to start with. There's a lot of tutorials for it online. We're both big gamers, and thought it'd be really cool to make one ourselves, even if a small one. As for content, I want to eventually, when I work up to it, put out 1 or 2 videos per week. Each week do one study or practice of anatomy or painting, and something else. I don't have the best setup and space at the moment. All I have is kind of a small computer desk and a lamp and stand on top of it. It doesn't have the best lighting, so I've tried to do my best to kind of make it a bit better. But to really be able to do my goals and expand and record more and better lighting and setup, need kind of a bigger space and lighting. I'm hoping to get like an art desk set up by my window, but at the moment my window is filled with plants. And outdoor plants that are currently sheltered inside while they get through the rough winter. For the first page, I like to try to put username, different places you can find me, and just kind of make it a starting page. There's a few other places I also have accounts for, like Blue Sky and Kara, but I don't do much on there yet. Plan to eventually in the future, it's just those are my main 3 focuses at the moment. The second page is from a flyer or poster, whichever it was, that I got while I was in college. Graduated back in 2016. And it's a nice reminder to keep progressing towards a better future, your dreams, and just to keep improving. I occasionally like to save fortune cookies, often go to Panda Express, and have some nice sayings, so occasionally save them to put in sketchbooks and other things. I know they're not real fortunes, but sometimes something nice and positive. Here is a calendar got from the Arbor Day Foundation, and I would plan on using it to mark off the days that I do some kind of art, progress, draw something. Just kind of interesting to see how much I draw over the year. I don't want to do something like draw for a whole week, whole month, every day, etc. challenge, because I know it doesn't work for me. It will just make me burnt out and want to do art much less. And adding a little duo as well to the calendar page to mark and see the progress I have with my Duolingo, taking Spanish courses. I fill it and the calendar in later on, but when I'm making this video at the beginning of the month, I was at my 535th day streak. The little cat is Peaches from the Neko Atsume game. It's a little kitty collector game you can get on your phone. Next two pages are gonna be inspirational about the new year. First page is a bunch of quotes and kind of inspirational stuff that I found. The page after that is going to be the 2025 January page, because I try to start off every month or season with some kind of page showing that that's what we're doing next, just to kind of keep track more of what's going on throughout the sketchbook with dates and events and whatnot. This is also going to be my goal page, so goals that I have for the year. So that is about everything. So hopefully this year turns out well. I can get my business started, get on to practicing more. I've already been very delayed. As you can see, I started this sketchbook back in the beginning of this month, and now it's almost the end of it. I've been sick, so audio wasn't good for a while. I'm taking care of a lot of stuff going on this month, so I've been really behind in a lot of projects, but hopefully I'll get caught up. I look forward to seeing you all again. If you like this, please subscribe, whatever. And I hope to see you again. Bye.